and the most risky video I've watched on internet space. That is Kwam1, a Fuji artist. Report says he was traveling. Report says that he threw alcohol on one of the attendants, the plane attendants. Okay, he might be wrong to do that. How did he pass alcohol through all the security check and came into the plane, and security could not bundle him out? They could not take him out of that tarmac, and somebody authorized that plane to move? Value jet need to be fined. Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria is justifying this stupidity that a human being was standing and plane move off. So what if he no bend down? The wing of the plane come knock him, come by. That is it. Assuming say that man no bend down, the wing for hit him because the plane don't move carry force. If for that's just like that. And Federal Airport Authority is explaining and defending this rubbish. What if na plane where they carry engine for wing? Engine. Thank God, so na plane where they carry engine for tail. What if they carry engine for wing? And people, you don't suck everybody enter there, grind them like pieces. Which kind of carelessness be this for aviation industry? This is the stupidity. Can this happen anywhere in the world? Giant of Africa, don't recall your country. Can this happen anywhere? If there is any passenger that is defaulting, they will use military or police to come and bully him out of that plane, and the plane will move off with safe passenger. So what if something went wrong to that man? That's why for take by. I heard Value Jet is apologizing. I heard, according to Kwam1, but Federal Airport Authority in Nigeria, he said that he was wrong. Okay, he was. How did he pass the alcohol through security check? So if Nakala in carry for pass, if on a machine or on a staff, no if you identify say person carry alcohol. If Nakala in carry, if na DRU in carry for pass now, if na substance in for carry and pass, stupidity, lack of security, even in the plane. Aviation industry. Now somebody allow and pass. Now machine in pass through, because if the machine for, in as much as Kwam1 might have been wrong in splitting alcohol on a plane attendant, it is not enough to move that plane. It is breaking of security protocol, breaking of safety protocol. Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria will now deserve to be flogged 5,000 stroke. And to the sanction, Kwam1 is not going to be flying again for the next 6 months. And so what? If you go Ghana, go come out from Ghana. That's not the issue. The most important is that Federal Airport of Nigeria will not be big disappointment. If you use road, go Cameroon, or use road, go Ghana, or go Benin Republic, continue in movement. Stupidity in the highest order. And some people are justifying Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Some people are justifying them all. What Kwam1 did, is it enough? Is it enough? Lawlessness everywhere. I don't know that the Akpabio they give that plane to move. Even this country, tell me nothing. When you come see your country, you're not mockery.
Isaac Fire see as just their best. God will surely guide this and protect you from the hands of the evil and lawlessness. Administration, because you are speaking nothing but the gospel truth. Now, this young pilot has committed no offense in my kind opinion. Yes, Swaju should have been recommended in police custody for common assault and breadth of fund regulations and breadth of the health and safety of the passenger and crew of fan as well. Kudos to you, Ice Fire Shame. You are always on point. Nigerian cruise country with a backer shoulder. I was still a small boy in 1991 when came to our streets and to perform ceremony, and from that day he became my role model. But the recent public disgrace and animalistic behavior, I felt so ashamed to be his fans. Self entitlement could be destructive. I have a lot here for you to watch, and I have a lot here that a lot of Nigerians reacts to it, which you hear from their opinion and from the horse's mouths. This person said, why suspending her? Why was Kwam1 not where other protocol law abiding passenger wear? Why were he giving alcoholic everywhere? Why will he be sharing alcoholic? Why is it like that? See, you don't have to blame anybody. Akpabio and Tinubu are the worst combination for Nigeria. Amo, I don't know what to say, because this one, when something big pass your power, you have to call the elders so that you hear words of wisdom from them. When they tell them to stop taking hard substance, they will not hear. Okay, that means there is alcoholic fully in charge of this, and this person said if he has any integrity he should come out and apologize to the pilot and all Nigerians. Yeah, why will her license be suspended? This is unfair. Nigeria will never be better if we continue like this because of power. Anyway, what will I say? Will I say, oh, will I blame the person, or will I not blame the person? You will hear it from everybody, because in this kind of situation, a lot of people have their own opinion, a lot of people have everything to say. So watch the video and tell me in the comment section. Bye.
Just imagine, say, that pilot yesterday, na Igbo woman, or na Igbo man can't do that kind of thing. The thing we go, they happen now for our country, everywhere. They forsake na Peter Obi send themselves. Just imagine. The country is so lawless, and we are now, people we see now are the arrogant people. Arrogant. No, you don't know who I am. Who are you? Ekapale. Who are you, God? Even Mr. Wasiu Ayinde, even your little children, the little brother, they don't go buy private jets. You can't see Wizkid entering public plane. You can't see Davido entering value jets. They don't go buy their own private jets. Why can't you just buy your own? If you know perfect guy, if food flags, bench, as maybe they feed picking inside plane, you go buy your own private jet. Yeah, come on. And you see how lawless our country is. Up till now, police, they haven't make any single statement. Can that happen abroad? And there is no statement from police. Do you know today alone, they've kidnapped a lot of people in Kogi State. Yesterday, I posted the ones of Samfara. Kidnapping now is going on. And the only thing police can be busy with now is to arrest Showore that is fighting for them. The only thing you've been hearing from police now is Showore torturing the guy inside cell, allegedly. That's all we hear now. The country has gone so lawless that is now on ground zero. Nigeria don't enter ground zero. In lawlessness now is next to none. Is everybody is just doing anyhow. No more country. Everybody is just doing jaga. How did we get here? A country that does not have law or follow its own law. Come on, what is left? And see police, no police. The same $43 a month police, 90K a month. 90K a month. How much is food? To buy food in Nigeria now, you will spend 3K for lunch. Does that mean they no go eat dinner? So we are just on God. That's why you see people in mosque and churches praying right now, because their only hope now is to pray. No more law, no more love. Everything has gone lawless. There was a country. Bele.
Kí wọ́n the ultimate? Kí ni ẹ̀ ń fi ara yín pè náà? K1 the ultimate. You know the president, Omo Jagaban, Omo President Tinubu. So what? Tó bá jẹ́ pé governor ní K1 the ultimate. Wàá máa ní kó pa gbogbo àwọn tó wà nínú plane yẹn. Wàá order pé kó shoot down plane yẹn. K1 the ultimate. Agbára wo lo ní tó ń gùn ẹ́ gàràgàrà? K1 the ultimate. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ìwọ ló wà nínú plane yẹn. Tí èèyàn kan tó dúró sínú plane yẹn tó dẹ̀ host plane yẹn tó hold ẹ̀ into hostage. Ẹ má sugarcoat ẹ̀. mo rí lọ́ọ̀yà kan tó jáde tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa safety àwọn tó wà nínú plane yẹn kọ́ ṣé ẹ̀mí ju ẹ̀mí lọ ni ṣé ẹ̀mí ju ẹ̀mí lọ you stand in front of a whole plane and you hold the plane and the entire people and its entire crew into hostage. K1 the ultimate. That is the height of barbarism, the height of indiscipline. Tọ́ba rẹ̀ ní bá ní sòtọ́rọ̀ ẹgẹ́ kiri ẹgẹ́ kó jọ́dọ̀ K1 ṣé ó mu kólọ́ọ̀sì ní K1 ṣé kólọ́ọ̀sì ló mu àbí kí ló mu? You must be on a very high dose of tramadol. So now looking back, do you think you behave well as a respectable citizen, K1? And that is why we always say education is good. K1, you display and you downgrade and you demean yourself. You put yourself at the lower cadre that any human being can be. What is an hostage? Is to hold some people into ransom. You hold the whole plane into ransom. You stood in front of the plane and said the plane will not move because you are what? Because you are what? Education is not a scam at all. If you go to school, K1, if you had gone to school, I don't think you would behave like that. Because you will have seen so many case studies along the line. Táyé bá yẹ wọ́n tán ìwà bàjẹ́ ni wọ́n ń wù. Ìwà bàjẹ́ of the highest order nìyẹn. Wàsíù Àyìndé wọ́n dì ẹ́ ní a ṣé èdì ni ṣé wọ́n dì ẹ́ ní o tẹ́ o fàtẹ́tẹ́ dì í. See how you disgrace yourself. Àwọn ọmọ ẹ tó jẹ́ lọ́ọ̀yà, àwọn ọmọ ẹ, àwọn ìyàwó ẹ, àwọn àlè ẹ tí wọ́n bá rí wọn á pàtẹ́wọ́ fún ẹ àbí wọn á ní o ṣe dáadáa ìwọ ló ní plane ni. O tí ìlówó kó fi máa tó máa gbé private jet lọ ra private jet kó máa gbé private jet kéèyàn kan wá dúró síwájú ẹ̀. Rubbish ni tó ṣe yẹn. Wàsíù Àyìndé, you work rubbish. You went from a very very high land or they drop a baby tán bí lánàá kò gbọdọ̀ dọ́rùn nǹkan tó dánwò yẹn. That is holding. Wọ́n lè mú ẹ. It's a terrorist act. You must not. You held that plane into hostage for more than 5 minutes. Àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ó rò pé tó bá jẹ́ èèyàn kan tí bí irú èmi bí irú àwọn tó ń wò mí ni wọ́n ní gidi ẹ̀kọ́ gbé gidi gan wọ́n fi ọlá Ọlọ́run wò ẹ́ lára ó wá ṣe kánkán ó ṣe kiri òun pèèyàn kò ní dáa fẹ́ni tó ń pè àti wọ́ gọ́gọ́ fúnra rẹ̀ tó fẹ́ pa àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ kó gba license lọ́wọ́ obìnrin yẹn tó suspend ẹ̀. She was patient.
The Abuja airport incident involving Fuji musician Kwamwan and ValueJet Airlines has raised far more than eyebrows. It's raised alarm bells about aviation safety, impunity, and whether the rule of law still applies in Nigeria's airspace. So what exactly happened on the tarmac of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport when the musician found himself face-to-face with a taxiing aircraft? Was it simply a lapse in protocol or a reckless abuse of influence? In the words of the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, he said, this was obviously a case of temporary loss of sanity and control on both sides, which could have led to serious fatalities. The NCAA has now placed Wàsíù Àyìndé on a 6-month no-fly list and suspended the licenses of the pilots involved. But the video evidence, conflicting accounts, and lingering public questions is a big one for all of us as we begin to ask questions whether or not we have seen or we all do know the full story. Let's bring in someone who should know. Michael Achimogo is the Director of Public Affairs at the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. He joins us for a frank conversation on this development. Mr. Achimogo, thank you for talking to us. Let's begin with what the public really hasn't heard yet. What did the CCTV logs and internal reports reveal that warranted a 6-month no-fly sanction on K1 and the suspension of the pilot's licenses?
Good evening to you and to our viewers. Let me quickly, update some of the information that's out there. First off, it is not the NCAA that is placing the passenger on a no-fly list. The NCAA has issued an advisory to airline operators of Nigeria not to board or fly the passenger until investigations have been concluded into this matter. It is no longer a 6-month issue. It is until whenever investigations into this matter have been concluded. There is no certain date for that, but investigations are ongoing. Secondly, I wish to inform you that the NCA has today officially petitioned the Attorney General of the Federation and the Inspector General of Police to conduct a thorough investigation and prosecute K1, who was the passenger on that flight. The pilot, of course, as you know, has had her license suspended as well. Many truths can coexist, and the authority is looking to be fair and just in ensuring that everybody who was culpable in this embarrassing incident is brought to book.
It is indeed embarrassing. The Minister of Aviation was blunt in his assessment, calling it a dangerous breach that could have ended in tragedy. But talk to us about how a passenger even got onto the tarmac in the first place. Who granted him access into a restricted zone? Because we're hearing that the NCAA and FAN officials were with him at that point.
He had, passed through the scanner successfully, and he made use of the VIP lounge, which is normal. And preliminary investigations claim that it was at the VIP lounge that he got water, right? Now, if you are going to board your flight from the VIP lounge, you still have one more check to pass, check conducted by the pathfinders before you board the plane. It was at that point that the liquid was discovered, and he was told that he would not be able to board with that liquid and to stand aside. The allegation is that, having been asked to stand aside, he refused and began to walk towards the aircraft. Of course, maybe the security personnel did not want to be seen as violent and thought they could just walk with him and handle the issue until they got to the foot of the aircraft, after which the pilot was asked to come outside and assess the situation. While that was going on, in trying to prove that what he was carrying was harmless, he splashed water, and somehow some of it splashed on the pilot, who got angry, got back into the aircraft, and shut the door of the plane.
So we now know that the liquid is water because, there are conversations as to what exactly he was carrying. The NCCA, in a statement released earlier, did say that there are...
I am telling you, I have just told you what preliminary investigations have revealed. It's an ongoing investigation. And until it is concluded, we cannot say what the facts are.
I hear you clearly. In your earlier statement, the NCCA did say there are no untouchables in the Nigerian airspace. But, critics argue that if this wasn't a public figure linked to power, the sanctions might have been harsher or faster. I mean, what happened could be regarded as forcible intrusion, or what the Minister of Aviation called hostage taking, which under ICAO-aligned definitions of unlawful interference speaks to a major breach. how come such intruder wasn't arrested at first instance? You said they were persuading him, perhaps he was going to align to reason. But at the point where he was obstructing what appeared a moving plane, do you agree that Kwamwan enjoyed some undue preferential treatment at that particular point?
Well, pathfinders are not airport security in that sense. FAN AFSEC exists for a reason. Would have been their responsibility to make such an arrest. But they are not present where the pathfinders were conducting that search at that moment. So I don't know about privilege. You see, look, there's a history of unruly passenger behavior in Nigeria, even from passengers of lesser status. Please pardon for want of a better word. Nobody has been treated any differently. The law is the law. The NCA on its own does not exactly have the power to prosecute in these instances. And so what we can do, the highest we can do in this instance is what we have done today by petitioning the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police to conduct, investigations and prosecute the passenger. If he was sacred, then we would not have written that petition.
I hear you, but I'm just echoing what even the aviation minister had said. He had questioned why NCCA initially acted against only the pilots and not the celebrity. In fact, he said what applies to the goose must apply to the gander, right? So has ValueJet, but let's talk about what has happened thereafter. Has ValueJet been questioned or sanctioned in any way? What role did their ground staff play in letting things spiral out of control?
Well, the pilot was a ValueJet pilot and immediately had her license suspended along with that of the co-pilot. The CAA has acted based on the evidence available to it per time, and that's why the investigation is called ongoing. The first piece of evidence that came to the authorities' notice was the video. And even, in fact, the angle of that video did not show an unruly passenger at the time, on the first day. And that was why the press release issued by the authority addressed because you see, if anything had happened to this passenger from the video that we had seen on the first day, nobody would be speaking about how unruly the passenger had been. So based on that video, the right thing, it is standard protocol all over the world. If such an incident has occurred, that pilot is going to be stopped from flying pending investigations. And then as the investigations continue, questions are getting asked, more evidence is coming in. Now there are different angles of videos that were made by eyewitnesses. And then we can see afterwards that the passenger was actually unruly and was blocking the plane. Based on that new information is why we have now petitioned, because there's zero tolerance for such behavior anywhere in the world. If this passenger was at the Dubai International Airport, for instance, and he's been told you cannot take this water on board, would he have acted this way? The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, submits himself to safety protocols at the airport. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development submits himself to every security check at the airport. No Nigerian is bigger than the law. Those protocols are made for our own safety, safety of every passenger. And it's quite disappointing to see a senior citizen of the country, act in such a manner. But, well, the police and the Attorney General will now handle the issue.
Well, Nigerians expect that this particular incident would trigger a revision of safety protocol enforcement, especially around high-profile individuals and airline crew accountability, and that NCAA will also pick some lessons to enforce going forward. But finally, before we let you go, you mentioned that Kwamwan has now been placed on no-flight till pending when this investigation is over. But when exactly does the public expect to get the final investigation report? And how will your agency ensure that this case doesn't quietly go away like many others?
Well, the Honorable Minister himself has gotten involved. There's no quietly going away in the matter. At the investigations, the results of it will be published once the investigations have been concluded. You see, in aviation, no case is as simple as it is. People tend to oversimplify these things. Take accident investigation, for instance. Even abroad, it will always take years. Now, this is not that kind of case, but we expect these investigations to be concluded as soon as possible. It's not my place to preempt the investigations, but it will not be swept under the carpet, which is why we're taking it to the highest possible legal authorities in Nigeria.
Michael Achimogo is Director of Public Affairs at the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Thank you.